Yes, you may please turn it on if you're comfortable. That would be great. I'm just starting the class. There seems to be some.
Kitiji can't hear you.
Now, can you? Now? No? Namaste. No one can hear? Can't hear?
Yes, we can't hear you.
Oh. Now?
Hanji, a little better.
Little better?
No, gone again.
Gone again. 1 second. Oh. I'm just exiting and coming back.
Can't hear you, Deeptiji.
Malini, I'm making you the host before I exit. Malini. Now can you hear? Hari Om. Hari Om. Can you hear? Can you hear? Now? Can you hear?
It's kind of breaking. Your voice is still kind of breaking. It's not very clear.
Let's start. I hope it gets clear. Everything else seems to be fine at the moment.
Can't hear you again. Do you want to rejoin Deeptiji once?
I just did.
She just tried doing that. Or take it from the phone, maybe?
Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm just hoping everything's okay now. Can you hear? Still can't hear?
No,
Can't hear. What's wrong?
In between, the voice keeps coming and then it disappears again.
The internet's okay. Everything else seems to be okay.
Not at all.
Hari Om everyone. Yeah, I know on YouTube you can hear, but since this is a live telecast, it won't. If they can't hear, then no one can hear. I don't know what the problem is. Let me check the settings. Seems to be okay. Everything seems okay here. Still can't? Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Nahi, Deepti ji.
Hari Om. Can you hear this sound?
Do you want to log out and log in again?
I've done it twice.
He tried that twice already.
Hari
Any
Om,
other
Hari
suggestions?
Om. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Yes,
now
now
I
you
can.
can.
Now I can?
Hanji.
Okay. So the mic.
Perfect.
Great. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience, everybody, and welcome to the class. We are starting the class now. I'll just start the chanting. Okay. Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Deepti ji recording.
Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Okay. Sorry for this delay and welcome everyone once again. Today we are starting with the revision of the third chapter, which means we will just be very quickly going over so that the highlights of the verses, each verse comes to our mind. We are able to remember to some extent. And if there are any doubts, you can place it, send a mail or something later, place it in the chat here, or after the class, when everything's over, we can take it up at that time. So, third chapter is a very important, every chapter is. I would say that for every chapter, but third chapter has a very pivotal importance in a sadhak's life. And when I say sadhak's life, it is a very clear definition who is this sadhak. This sadhak is one who wishes to understand what is the spiritual path, remove all ambiguity and generalizations that float in society with reference to all the various kinds of opinions that are there about what is it to be spiritual. Vedas have given us a very direct approach, keeping in mind the human embodiment, the human faculties. As a human being, there is a very clear cut path laid out in the Vedas. Nowhere will it be said that it is an easy way. Easiness is just a human tendency to avoid doing what takes some effort. We float towards what is easy. But Vedas are giving us a process. If you observe nature, everywhere in nature, all life forms have a certain state of a difficulty, go through hardships, go through hard working life. I'll repeat that point. Throughout creation, there is one thing common. Physical existence requires hard work. One cannot escape that. That hard work is what, as a human being, because of our superior faculties as we claim them, we wish to go through an easy path. And therefore, whatever is given in the Vedas as a direct path for one's spiritual growth, because it doesn't look easy, we find it easy to give up. It is easily given up because it requires effort, it requires consistency, it requires persistence, it requires a certain kind of a dridata, a very firm resolve to abide in these principles that are laid out and abide in them till, as the Shastra says, the result, as in what it promises, what it shows, has unfolded in our life. That persistence, consistency, because it has a difficult following, difficult to abide. Therefore, Shastra's request would be to everyone, if there is Shraddha, follow what is said despite it being not so easy to abide in initially. So, who is the sadhak who would want to know what is the Vedas showing to us as a path? And Vedas show to us entirely on the basis of knowledge. ज्ञान देता है, ये ज्ञान स्वभाव है, ये ज्ञान स्वरूप है. Vedas are, by word itself, is knowledge. To know. Why is it important to know? Because all these matas that float in society, in Katha Upanishad also, Nachiketas asks this question to Yamadharmaraja. He says, of all these things that is there on the earth, do this and you will go to heaven, do this and you will get to Vaikuntha, do this and you will be freed of all sorrow, do so much vratam, do so much tapas, do this, do that. Itna sab kuch hai. He asks Dharmaraja, Yamadharmaraja, the Lord of Death, he asks him, Ekam Vada also, tell me very, very clearly, don't confuse my buddhi. He says, there Nachiketa says, do not confuse my buddhi. I want to know very, very clearly what happens to this jiva on death. ये जो अभी वॉकी टॉकी इंसान है, इच्छाओं से भरा हुआ है, उसे कुछ चाहिए, उसे प्राप्त करना है, उसे जाना है, उसका सारा आनंद ये दृश्य जगत में जो बैठा है एंड अपने आप को जो दुखी कंक्लूड कर रहा है, आई एम नॉट फुल, आई एम लैकिंग समथिंग, आई नीड टू डू समथिंग. द वन हु फील्स दिस थ्रू आउट लाइफ, There's never a moment that one feels at peace completely. There's always something or the other we are on a chase of. When this body dies, Nachiketas's question to Yamadharma Raja is, इस जीव का क्या है, गति क्या है? You are the Lord of death. Therefore, you are the only one who knows where is this jiva transported later on. ये कहाँ जाता है? Does it also die with the body? Or resolve all these different matas, because none of these matas are going to be, matas means opinions, none of these opinions floating in the world can be a pramanam, because to be a pramanam, it means it has to have a validity above a specific regional experience. Pramanam means something that has a validity through time, through space, through different conditions, it will still hold true. It's like saying gravity has a validity despite space, conditional on Earth. Wherever, whether you are in this continent or in that continent, gravity has a universal application. You change the condition, yes, gravity will have its different function then. But as long as there is the same condition, the law of gravity will universally apply whether you stay here in India or you stay in any other part of the world. In the same way, as long, and mark the words, as long as there is a human body, there is an indweller of the human body. As long in creation as you find even one human being surviving, the same path that the Veda shows will be applicable to him, because the condition of the marg, of the path that Vedas show for spiritual unfoldment applies to the condition called human being. Whoever is that human being, whether you know Sanskrit, whether you are a, whichever country, whichever language, whichever era you belong to, human body you have means this knowledge is your guide map. It can guide you up to your absolute freedom, state of absolute freedom while you are alive. That is the siddhant, that is the drishti of Advaita Vedanta. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very clearly says, and Shankara says in his Bhashyam, is nothing but a sar. It is a synopsis. It is a condensed Ved in itself. Mahabharata itself is called the fifth Ved, and Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is the pendant of the necklace, which is Mahabharata. While there are many, 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 many beads, over 1 lakh verses in Mahabharata, these 700 verses are in summary, in a concise form of what the Vedas show as a guide, give knowledge to a human being for their upliftment, for their own gati, a, a gati which will take them to their own peace. That Shastra only tells us, which we know by experience, we are always looking for. How to gain that? I'm always looking for happiness. I'm always looking for peace. I'm always looking for shanti. Period. Can any one of us deny this? That I am always in want of peace and shanti? क्या हम में से कोई भी इस बात को नकार सकता है कि मुझे आनंद नहीं चाहिए, मुझे सुख नहीं चाहिए, मुझे शांति नहीं चाहिए, कभी भी नहीं चाहिए? I am okay without it. No, even if you say I'm okay without it, I am only compromising. None of us will say that. But if you say that also, it is more out of a state of inertia. I have got content with my life of difficulties. I'm okay with it. But what is that deep search, deep want? Shastra shows us in absolute clear method. ये जितना हमारे समझ में आता है ना, उतना हमें समझ आता है कि इससे ज़्यादा साफ रास्ता कहीं नहीं दिख सकता। The only condition is कि हमारा अंतकरण कितना साफ है to receive the knowledge. I'm repeating myself. This is a guide map. ज्ञान है ये गाइड मैप है। आपको दिखाएगा कि आपके डिफरेंट स्टेजेस ऑफ लाइफ में आपको कैसे जीना है, मगर वो जीने का संकल्प अकॉर्डिंग टू व्हाट द वेदास हैव शोन अस, वो जीने की दृढ़ता, वो जीने की इच्छा वैसे, दैट इज आवर ओन स्ट्रगल। But in the process of, in the vision of the Vedas, it is clearly applicable to every human being from wherever they start from, and it has the capacity to take them to their own final point whereby this individual jiva can conclude and say, I am now Paripurna. I have no more search left. I have nowhere to go. I have nothing to want. I am fullness myself. From a state as we experience our life today, in our own minds, that felt vacuum or felt wants or felt state of incompleteness, from our own present state of experience to our own state of experience where we can come up and say, I now am complete. मुझे अब, there is no search left from within. It is all owned up. That entire path, which today looks outside us, is shown to be within, and that Vedas clearly specifies to help us move. Therefore, Gyan Pradhan hai ye. Gyan Pradhan means it shows us the way so that that knowledge becomes our guru, knowing which it becomes a guide map from within. You know how we have our compass? It takes us in a direction, shows us always the north side. This knowledge becomes the compass in us, which tells us अब तुम्हारी गति right है, you are moving in the right direction, or you're moving away from your own self, you're moving away from your purnata, you're moving away into the realm of samsara. That compass becomes this knowledge. Therefore, whoever says I'm clarifying it, many people believe Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta is very theoretical. Theoretical. It's lack of correct exposure of the knowledge. अगर कोई मानता है कि ये theoretical है, that means कहीं पे उनके उनके hearing में, it is possible that what they may have heard, the nishtha of the teacher or of the explanation was not in alignment to what the Shastra says. That conclusion can be there, but it is not correct. For us as students, we need to understand this is a direct path. इसमें कोई भी confusion or delusion और मतभेद हो नहीं सकता. That much clarity it can give us. So now we have come to third chapter. I'm saying it is a pivotal chapter to shift a person from complete state of being a samsari. And samsari means one who has involvements in the world, and those involvements are keeping them in a state of vyakulta. It keeps them unfulfilled. From that state to come to the state of fulfillment, Karam Yoga is the pivotal point. Takes you from desire riddenness in your action to makes you understand what are the changes in your own attitudes that you can bring in, which will result in your own capacity to grasp the subtle knowledge And that subtlest knowledge, the fact, non changing, changeless fact that Vedas proclaim through and through, Advaita particularly proclaims through and through, you are Brahman, that acceptance, how to know that I am Brahman, from Jiva Buddhi to Brahma Buddhi, Aham Brahmasmi. The pivotal point is, how much have I been able to bring the purification that is required? When you have to, um, in one of the Upanishads, the example is, what do you use an axe for? Will you use an axe to 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 remove a thorn from your finger? Will you use an axe to remove a thorn from your finger?
No, only to cut wood.
Only to cut. It's got a particular purpose. But the needle with which you remove the thorn from your finger, will you use that needle to cut wood? Can't. No. It's not possible. It's redundant. It's not applicable. In the same way, ये जो अंतकरण है, हमारा जो आज जीव बुद्धि में भरा हुआ है, जीवत्वम में है, मैं ये इंसान हूं, मेरी ये इच्छा है, मेरी ये आशाएं हैं, मेरी ये उम्मीदें हैं, मेरे को प्राप्ति चाहिए, मेरा आनंद कंडीशनल है, कल ऐसा होगा तो आई विल बी हैप्पी, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, ऐसा हो गया तो अब मैं दुखी हूं। ये सारे जो मेरे अपने को लेके एक सेल्फ इमेज है, my own conclusion of myself, of who I am. It is a self image that I have. That self image, Shastra says, मलिन है ये, it's impure. आपने इसके अंदर ऐसी ऐसी चीजें भर दी हैं जो सत्य नहीं है. The biggest thing or the firmest thing, the most steady thing is, as a jiva buddhi, the subtle mala is firm, always there, is that I am this body. मैं शरीर हूं, ये शरीर के गुण मेरे हैं. दैट मीन्स ये शरीर का हाइट मेरा हाइट है, ये शरीर का रंग मेरा रंग है, ये शरीर का रूप मेरा रूप है, ये शरीर की जैसी भी अवस्था है ये मेरी है. सो इफ आई एम इन अ यौवन अवस्था, आई एम यंग. इफ आई एम इन अ वृद्ध अवस्था, आई एम ओल्ड, एक्सेट्रा. दिस इज mala, impurity. Because of this impurity, I seek things to improve myself. I seek in the external world to remove or complete this image of mine, which seems to be not adequate to me. I myself don't feel content with my own image of myself. I have to change. Therefore, that mala, how will I change? How do I remove? Directly, if someone has a perception and a cognition, it comes through knowledge. Now that I know all this is mala in me, if I have a certain sanskar acquired in the past because of my previous hearing, I can immediately recognize and start the corrective process. But if I am not still in recognition of it, I understand, but मुझे दिख नहीं रहा. Our Hindi and our Sanskrit word convey certain things very well. मुझे दिख नहीं रहा कि मेरे में मल कहाँ है, कैसा है. ओके, थोड़ा बहुत अहंकार है, थोड़ा बहुत गुस्सा है, थोड़ा बहुत ईर्ष्या है, थोड़ी बहुत ग्रीड है, चलो मान लिया. थोड़ा बहुत ममत्वम है, अटैच, मान लिया. That much all that we can understand as our impurity. That is the starting point. Shastra says here, Bhagavad Gita says, through the realm of कर्मा, क्योंकि आपकी अपूर्णता अवस्था ही आपको कर्म में डाल रही है. What is pushing you into action? Your own state of feeling that I am apurna. I'm not full. That state of incompleteness is pushing you into action, which means I want to be full as an outcome of my action. I'm repeating. My state of incompleteness जो मुझे लग रहा है, that I feel, it is that which is pushing me into doing some action. Because of that restless feeling in me, I have to be something, I have to achieve something, I have to do something, I have to become someone, I have to better myself, I have to avoid this, I must do this. All these things are making us come into the realm of action. आपका starting point of action क्या है? Why am I into action, into the realm of action? Because I feel that through an action, a result that will come, that result is where I am hoping that it will give me my fullness, my happiness, my completeness. कर्म में हम क्यों लगे हैं? क्योंकि हमें आशा है कि उसके फलों से हमें वो मिलेगा जो हम ढूंढ रहे हैं और मिलके हम शांत हो जाएंगे. We'll become settled after that. I'll settle down after that. We say that. After that, I'll be settled. ये हो जाए ना, then I'll be settled. ये हो गया ना, then I will be settled. वो हो गया ना, then I will be settled. When we go on saying that, then I will be set. That means I'm postponing. I'm constantly postponing. Allowing myself to say, I'm not settled now. So, pushed by this restless feeling, karma is our only base from where the Shuddhi can initiate. कर्म के realm में अशुद्धता manifest कर रही है. Therefore, through karma, शुद्धता अंतकरण की लानी है, होती है. शास्त्र से होती है. कर्म के माध्यम से आप अंतकरण की शुद्धि कर सकते हो. और जब कर्म को आप अपना माध्यम बनाते हो फॉर अंतकरण शुद्धि, फॉर द सेक ऑफ gaining your पूर्णता, reclaiming your पूर्णता, that becomes कर्म योग. वो कर्म योग का ज्ञान is third chapter. How did we come to third chapter? First chapter is the जीवा state, जो मैं अभी आपको बता चुकी, अभी हम बोल चुके. वो जो जीवत्वम का भाव है शोक मोह ग्रस्त. Shastra takes Arjun as an example in Bhagavad Gita, and his condition in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, from where it starts, his condition of him being afflicted by shok, grief, and moha, confusion. What is it that I should be doing? That paralysis that he experiences of not knowing what to do with his life in his next level of, or in the situation that has emerged in front of him, he gets confused, he's paralyzed. So many times we experience that in ourselves. Our minds go blank. Suddenly there is this confusion that takes over, and we are looking around us, who's a wise person who can help me through, sort this and tell me what is the right thing to do. Arjun हम सबको represent कर रहा है, जीव को represent कर रहा है, a human being को represent कर रहा है. That is first chapter. Second chapter, Bhagavan gave that absolute knowledge. the direct knowledge. That direct knowledge that you are Brahman. Only on knowing that you are Brahman, when you can claim that I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, when I can claim it, and that claiming is not theoretical. आज हम सब बोल सकते हैं अहम ब्रह्मास्मि. It's not difficult. These are simple words. Aham Brahmasmi. But when I am in my perception of myself, am I Brahman? In my perception of my identity, I am still a name and form. I'm still an individual. I'm still someone who's looking for here and there and everywhere. I'm still looking for my happiness even outside. That's the best part. हम अपना आनंद ढूंढ कहाँ रहे हैं? आनंद हम कॉन्स्टेंटली, अभी क्लास के थ्रू इस सत्संग में हमको क्लियर हो जाएगा कि आनंद बाहर नहीं है. जैसे ही सत्संग खत्म होगा, क्लास खत्म होगी, हम आनंद कहाँ ढूंढेंगे? हम आनंद फिर से बाहर ही ढूंढ. हमारी वो वृत्ति जो है कि हमें बाहर लगा के रखती है, दैट वृत्ति में, that vritti continues because that jiva bhav is still prominent. It is still predominant. It is who I believe I am. Therefore, my saying I am Brahman has no impact on my search for fullness. One whose complete knowledge of him, her being Brahman, the him and her dissolves there. That Brahmatvam, when they are able to claim themselves, that Brahman avastha mein, this jiva, little tiny bit of vision that I have of myself, dissolves away. Therefore, that alone is your final state, Krishna said to Arjuna in the in the second chapter, initial verses from 16 onwards. And then Brahma Gyan dene ke baad, the one whose mala has gone by past sadhana, और जिसको इवन गीता का वो पोर्शन 16 to 28th verse, I think it was, let's say 11 to 30. What is Atma Swarupa? Second chapter, verses 11 to 30. If someone has Chitta Shuddhi already by their past actions, by their past seeking, और वो पहली बार जीवन में अगर सिर्फ वर्स 11 से 30 चैप्टर 2 का सुने, तो भी ब्रह्म ज्ञान पूरा हो सकता है. और ये जो जीवन मोह है, जीव दृष्टि है, वो नष्ट हो सकती है. एंड इट कैन टेक देम टू देयर, it can bring them to their own reclaiming of their nature. But generally speaking, गीता का अधिकारी, गीता को समझने वाला, जानने वाला, जिज्ञासु, गीता के ज्ञान का जिज्ञासु अभी शुद्ध, अंतकरण शुद्ध पूरा नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल नहीं होगा, नहीं तो गीता में इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं होगा. Some part of it is definitely recognizing the importance of this knowledge. You have the earnestness, the desire to learn the knowledge, and therefore some part of us is already purified. But it is not adequate yet to claim the knowledge. Therefore, even after the 30th verse, from 31st verse to 39th verse, also in chapter 2, Bhagwan tells Arjun about Karma Yoga in a synopsis, because second chapter is a summary of the entire 17 chapters. That Karma Yoga, अगर आप ब्रह्म ज्ञान अभी सुन के भी क्लेम नहीं कर पा रहे, तो आपके चित्त में शुद्धि की आवश्यकता है. उसके लिए कर्म योग माध्यम है, साधन है. So he gives him that in the second chapter. Then he comes back to Sankhya Yoga, which is Jnana Yoga, Brahma Gyan, in second chapter from verse 39 onwards, and continues the Yoga Buddhi till 52 verse. It's 52nd verse. Then again, 53rd verse, he starts with the Sankhya Yoga, with the Yoga Buddhi, which is Karam Yoga Buddhi, as a means, brings back a person to what is that direct means for Brahma Gyan, Jnana Yoga, Brahma Gyan. Only Brahma Gyan can remove all this restlessness from a jiva and bring them to a sthan, a sthiti, which is forever, changelessly indicated by Satchit Ananda Swabhav. So, from 54th verse, Arjun had asked a question. वो जो ब्रह्म ज्ञानी, जो निष्ठ है ज्ञान में, जो अब इस स्थिति में बैठा है, उसका लक्षण क्या है? So 55th verse to 72 verse in chapter 2 we saw Bhagwan gave him the lakshanas of a sthita pragnya, जिसका ज्ञान, pragnya is ज्ञान of what? Brahma buddhi. I am Brahman. जिसका ब्रह्म बुद्धि में निष्ठा स्थित हो गई है, वेवर नहीं करती. हमारी निष्ठा कैसी है? Lack of practice only, nothing else. Our निष्ठा is जब तक क्लास है और उसकी थोड़ी देर बाद, जब तक सत्संग है उसकी थोड़ी देर बाद सब साफ है. फिर निष्ठा धीरे धीरे वापस आ जाती है पुरानी अपनी सोच में, which again becomes loud, which again becomes prominent. जब उसकी निष्ठा फर्म हो जाती है, such a one takes to Brahmi sthiti. Now he is freed from all this restlessness and jiva samsari gati, which is characterized by rebirth, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So in second chapter, the message that seems to be heard by Arjun and by any casual reader and listener of Bhagavad Gita will be, Bhagwan seems to be saying that direct means for your moksha prapti, Brahma prapti, is Brahma Gyan. But to Arjun, he said, do your karma yoga. Do your karmas. He gave him that knowledge of Swadharma. Do your karma as yoga. So, but natural. Arjun also gets confused. And all of us, truly speaking, especially when someone who takes to this knowledge as a permanent resort to their life, we all feel we have qualified ourselves for this knowledge to spend our life completely with it. And we go for Brahma Gyan, and suddenly your teacher, your acharya, your guru tells you, Abhi tum jaake ye karam karo. A lot of ashrams do that initially because it's needed. We all may think we are all qualified, but from Shastra Drishti, we have still some qualification left. Therefore, you are put into the realm of karma, which will give you an opportunity to convert it into yoga, do your karma yoga, and with gradual chitta shuddhi and shravanam of gyan, you will finally be able to claim your own स्वरूपम as Brahman. तो हम सबको लगता है जब हम eager हैं for Brahmanistha, when we are inspired for Brahmanistha, when I want to spend my life in Shastra Vidya, Shravanam and Mananam, then why am I being told to do karma? Because karma is very hectic, tiring, as I've just said in the beginning of the class. It is hard work, and anyway that hard work seems to be not a natural state for all of us. We like the easy way out. Therefore, it looks very, very attractive to come to the point where I should be able to sit. Give me the permission to just sit, live on bhiksha, जो मुझे जो दे दे, I'll be happily content living my life like that. Let me just listen to the Shastra Vidya. I will do whatever little is required for Sharir Yatra, and let me sit in contemplation of this knowledge. Why can't I do it? So Arjun says in third chapter, it starts with his confusion of the first two verses, and he says, "O Janardana, you are a protector of people. If you think in your understanding, in your mind, mata, by your opinion, that buddhi yog, which is Gyan Yoga in this context, is higher than karma, then why do you propel me? Tat kim karmani ghore mam. In this terrible karma of what? Of fighting this war. We all know Arjun slipped into this state of confusion because seeing his own grandfather, Bhishma Pitama, and his Acharya, Dronacharya, he and all the other cousins and everybody, his mind went into saying, why do we need this Rajyam and etc. So to him, it is the war is going to be calamitous, ghore. It is a ghore karma. Ghor karma means, if you translate it, it's terrible karma. It's a terrible action. Killing is not a advisable, obviously, it's not a nice action. It's not a desirable action. It's an absolutely ghora karma. Then, hey Keshav, नियोजयसी, why are you propelling me towards it? आप मुझे क्यों कह रहे हो कि मैं कर्म करूं, जबकि मैं खुद आपके पास आया हूं कह के कि मुझे कर्म नहीं करने, मुझे भिक्षा पे रह के मैं जाऊंगा, आई गो रिटायर इनटू फॉरेस्ट, ऋषियों के मुनियों के जो आश्रम्स हैं, मैं जाऊंगा वहां पे रहूंगा, एंड आई विल listen to the Gyan Upanishad classes, Upanishad lectures, and मैं ब्रह्म विचार में रहूंगा. मुझे क्यों ये घोर कर्म कर रहे हो? मुझे I have given up this desire for kingdom. I don't want to be the ruler. I don't have any such desires anymore. Therefore, please give me the permission to quit the battle and take to this lifestyle of living on um, freedom from seeking fulfillment of desires, which is called sannyas. Give me that permission to free myself from that, and thereafterwards, I will pursue. And what you've just said, anyway, also, it is a direct means. Give me the permission to follow that. But Krishna had already concluded in the second chapter, no. So, why are you telling me to do karma, O Krishna? Asking this is an amazing attitude of Arjun, really speaking. He is not questioning him, he is questioning to understand why is he being asked to do this. And in that lies the entire knowledge of the chapter that Krishna willingly unfolds to Arjuna. He said in the second verse, by these words of yours that you have given through the second chapter, glorifying Sankhya Yoga, glorifying the direct means of liberation as Brahma Gyan, highlighting its importance, and yet telling me to do karma. This is confusing me. You know? They look like mixed up statements to my mind. It has as if confused me. Your words seem to be confusing me. Therefore, tat ekam vada nishchitya. Tell me with one certainty. Ekam. निश्चय से बताओ what is श्रेयस for me. मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? मेरी इच्छा है कि मैं संन्यास लेके भिक्षा में रहूं. I'll retire to the forest. There were a lot of ashrams in those days also in forests. People would go away from the main field and gurukuls were there. small few students would be there, 2 4 5, every person would have 5 10 15 20 whatever, doesn't matter the number at all, but anybody a seeker knew where to go. They would retire in forests and live on simple life, but high thinking, deep reflection, deep contemplation on a relaxed mind. What is a relaxed mind? A relaxed mind is a non wanting, non desiring, not doing mind. I have to do this, I have to. That kind of a doership in the mind makes the mind restless. So, those who are qualified for a life of sannyas means retirement in the sense that you can contemplate on the higher aspects of life, that doingness is given up, voluntarily given up by knowledge that doingness doesn't fulfill me. Any karma will not fulfill me. Therefore, Arjun says, I am certain that I want to take that life now. मुझे तो लगता है कि I am ready for it. अर्जुन ने ऐसे कहा होगा, मुझे लगता है कि I am ready for it. पर हे भगवान, आप क्यों मुझे कह रहे हो कि मैं अभी तैयार नहीं हूँ उसके लिए? आप क्यों कह रहे हो कि मुझे ये कर्म करना चाहिए अभी? कि मैं अभी तैयार नहीं हूँ उस लाइफ स्टाइल के लिए, उस लाइफ को अडॉप्ट करने के लिए. What is the danger that if he is not ready for that thing, but he thinks he's ready, but he's actually not ready from the teacher's perspective, from the guru's perspective, from the knowledge perspective that the teacher represents, the guru represents, the acharya represents. उस दृष्टि से अगर अर्जुन तैयार नहीं है और अर्जुन सोचता है कि वो तैयार है, और अगर अर्जुन अपनी बुद्धि से चल पड़े, तो इसमें what is the danger?
he will मतलब he will not have a goal, he will lose जो वो खुद जो उसका नेचर है वो भी खो देगा और वो खुद ही कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा कि करना क्या है
Exactly.
He will never be able to attain moksha.
Absolutely. So see, he would be misled. He will get lost on his life journey. He'll get lost. What is that? Lostness means miscalculating your own adhikaratva, misjudging your own self. हम अभी भी अविद्या में ग्रस्त हैं, हम अभी भी अहम और मोह में बैठे हैं, हमें अभी भी मोह है. इनफैक्ट अर्जुन की वो स्थिति है क्यों? मोह के कारण. मगर वो नहीं देख पा रहा कि मेरा मोह जस्टिफिकेशन है. उसको लग रहा है कि उस मोह के कारण जो उसको एक वैराग्य फील हुआ है, वो वैराग्य सही है. बट ही इज blessed to have had Krishna around him, who sees through his own mind, who sees through what his mind is saying. And therefore, because Arjun had surrendered to Krishna, tad ekam vada nishchitya. You are the one who has to tell me ekam. What is that which is going to be Shreyaha Aham Apnuyam, that will take me to my Shreyas, that will be good for me. मेरे लिए क्या सही होगा, मेरे लिए क्या अच्छा होगा. I am repeating this because I think it's come out very clear today. When you remove the layers of words and you come to the spirit of the verse, Arjun's confusion is, मुझे लग रहा है कि मैं तो तैयार हूँ संन्यास लेने के लिए और डायरेक्ट नॉलेज प्राप्त करने के लिए. दैट विल ऑल्सो टेक अ फ्यू ईयर्स. मैं बाकी का जीवन अपना उसी में जीना चाहता हूँ. आई लिव ऑन भिक्षा, कंदमूल खा के. आई विल लिसन टू द उपनिषद्स एंड वेदांतिक ज्ञान, अद्वैत ज्ञान, कॉन्टम्पलेट हु एम आई, मैं कौन हूँ. ज्ञान से मैं आई विल स्पेंड माई टाइम इन अ रिलैक्स्ड वे इन कॉन्टम्पलेशन. मैं तो ये तैयार हूँ, मगर आपकी बातों से मुझे लगता है कि मुझे अभी भी आप मुझे कह रहे हो कि मुझे कर्म करना चाहिए. कर्म योग करना चाहिए, तो आप मुझे बता दो एक ही चीज, मेरे लिए श्रेयस क्या है? मेरा मन जो मुझे कह रहा है, आपके वचन जो कह रहे हैं, वो मुझे क्यों फॉलो करना है? क्यों मैं तैयार नहीं हूं? आपको लगता है मेरे लिए वो रास्ता क्यों नहीं है? काइंडली इल्यूमिन मी, he has asked first and second verse. Now Krishna starts in the third verse, third verse. So you find in the third chapter, the breakup of the chapter is 43 verses in the chapter. The first two verses is Arjuna's question. Third verse onwards, Bhagwan starts giving him the reason for doing karma yoga. जो हम कहते रहते हैं, and mostly everybody knows it now, चित्त शुद्धि कारण है कर्म योग का, चित्त शुद्धि होती है कर्म योग से. That way of doing it, why should you do it? उसके कारण. Once you have the reason, you can inspire your mind to follow it. ज्ञान क्यों बहुत उत्तम है, हर मार्ग से उत्तम है. I'm fresh on it because I have heard a lot of Purva Pakshas in the recent times where constantly people will say, but this is all very theoretical. This is all very knowledge. Gyan hai. Kya, what applied to Krishna and Arjun, that doesn't apply to us. All this is so misleading. This is applicable to us. What is applicable? He says that ज्ञान ही इज गिविंग व्हाई यू शुड डू योर कर्म योग. अगर मेरी समझ में आ गया कि कर्म योग का महत्व क्या है, अगर मेरी समझ में आ जाए कि कर्म योग मेरे लिए कितना जरूरी है, अगर ये मेरी बुद्धि को स्पष्ट हो जाए, साफ हो जाए, तो मेरा माइंड अपने आप उत्सुक हो जाएगा. आई विल नॉट नीड anybody in the world. I won't need anything higher. I'm independent to pursue it because your guru, your acharya is the ज्ञान. ये ज्ञान आपको उठा रहा है और दिखा रहा है कि कर्म योग का महत्व क्या है. So from third verse up to 16th verse, nishkam karam, which is another word for karam yoga, the importance of it, the method of it, how to do it, this he gives in these verses. And then again, Krishna reminds him, Karam Yoga is a temporary stage of a person's life. It is not कि हमें करते रहना है, करते रहना है, करते रहना है ना, जन्म जन्मांतर कर्म योग करते रहना. No, it has a purpose. The purpose is chitta shuddhi, relative chitta shuddhi. There is nothing called absolute chitta shuddhi. If your mind is ready to contemplate, means you have chitta shuddhi. If your mind is still got stuck in aham and mama and doing and being, then you still need karam yoga. It's a very clear demarcation. Therefore, Krishna reminds Arjun in again 17th and 18th verse that karam yoga is not a final goal for a person. Karam yoga is एक सीढ़ी है. It is a साधन. कर्म योग अपने आप में लक्ष्य नहीं है. It is not a absolute end goal. कर्म योग एक साधन है, एक सीढ़ी है. वो कर्म योग की आवश्यकता खत्म हो जाती है एक वक्त आके, जब चित्त शुद्ध हो गया है और मनन कर सकता है, तो अब कर्म योग की उस अधिकारी को जरूरत नहीं है. वो अधिकारी was what was highlighted as a direct means of knowledge in the second chapter. That is pointed again in the 17th and the 18th verse of the third chapter. कि जो कर्म योग से चित्त शुद्ध हो चुका है, means past में किया है, टुडे वो ज़रूरत नहीं है उसको, वो ज्ञान निष्ठा में लग सकता है, वो तैयार है वो संन्यास के लिए, वो तैयार है, अब उसको डूइंग में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, उसको डूइंग की ज़रूरत नहीं है, उसको साध्य साधन भाव से मुक्ति हो चुकी है, रिलेटिव. Therefore, such a person was highlighted in the 17th and the 18th verse. जो ज्ञान निष्ठ के लिए तैयार है, उसको कर्म की आवश्यकता नहीं है. But, O Arjun, so he comes back again from the 19th verse till the 35th verse. But जो अभी भी अहम मम में है, उसको कर्म और उसके बंधन जो हैं, उससे मुक्ति या उससे शुद्धि पाने के लिए he says उनके कर्मों के हेतु, your reasons for action, which are your desires and apurnata, as I've just said, that gets highlighted from 19th to 35th verse. And those are the very karmas in which you can convert them into karma yoga. कर्मों में भेद की जरूरत, कर्म बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है. कर्म जो भी करो उसको अलग नजरिए से करो, और वो नजरिया दिखाया जाता है. चेंज ऑफ द एटीट्यूड एंड नॉट द एक्शन is what is called Karam Yoga. And then 36th verse again, Arjun had asked, what are the main reasons why are we bound? हम क्यों बंधे हुए हैं कर्मों से? क्यों हम कर्म में जुड़ जाते हैं, फट करके लग जाते हैं? It doesn't even take us a moment. Suddenly we find when we wake up in the morning, it's a very beautiful reflection. You wake up in the morning, if you don't have a satsang of this nature for that day, वो दिन कैसा निकलता है, क्या करके निकलता है, किस परस्यूट में निकलता है, किसके पीछे लगे हैं हम, क्या चाह रहे हैं? All that thing is our बंधन. So Arjun wants to know, अगर कर्म योग हमारे बंधन को तोड़ता है, तो हमें कर्म में क्या लगा रहा है? He wants clarity of that. He wants knowledge of that. हमें क्या बंधन, क्यों कर्म से हम जुड़ रहे हैं? And Krishna gives the answer. It is desires, and desires are born from rajas. Those aspects which are uh, pushing us into action, those desires which are pushing us into action, that pushing into action itself requires rajas. Therefore, rajo guna samudbhavaha. Your desires are born from rajas, and they are the reasons for your bondage. And to free yourself, come back to the point. How do you free yourself? Karam Yoga is the way. So now that is like an overview of the third chapter. Now, very quickly, we just very quickly go through the verses. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Bhagavan is saying, Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha. In this world, Lok, Asmin, this world of life, human beings. Dvividha Nishtha, I have given twofold inner state of establishment, जिसमें आप निष्ठ हो सकते हो. वो दो हैं जिसमें आप अपनी गति को निष्ठ कर सकते हो. आप अपने आप को उस रास्ते पे जीवन को चला सकते हो. जिस रास्ते पे आप चलाना चाहते हो अपने जीवन, वो रास्ते की निष्ठा दो है. That was told by me pura, पहले से ही है. This is ever since the creation is. That's why Vedas are anadi and um, Ajaha, they are not born. They come with the creation. The knowledge of one's liberation comes with creation. So pura prokta, I have been saying that. O Mayanagha, O one who is otherwise free of all kinds of means you're already a pure person. What are these two nishthas? For those who are ready for contemplative life, for them Gyan Yoga. But those who are still into an active mode of life, Karam Yoga. For those yogis who desire higher for themselves, who desire moksha for themselves, but are still active by nature. फिर भी अभी मन में लगा रहता है कुछ करना है कुछ करना है कुछ करना है. And life has been brought down to very small, short goals. I need to earn money. I need to have a house. I need to have a family. These small, small goals that we have restricted our life to. To them, Karam Yoga. So, what are the two nishthas? Gyan Yoga ki nishtha ya Karam Yoga ki nishtha? According to Vedas, यही क्लैरिटी है फॉर अ ह्यूमन लाइफ. आप अगर अपने जीवन को गति देना चाहते हो, आध्यात्मिक गति देना चाहते हो, तो आपके पास दो निष्ठाओं का अवसर है. अगर आप शांत रह के मनन कर सकते हो और जो मिलता है उसमें आनंद से रहते हो, लेकिन मन आपका, दैट इज अ वेरी बिग पॉइंट, मन आपका किन विचारों में है? If it is not contemplative on truth, on reality, on wanting to know Brahma Gyan, so then you are still attached to the wants, desires. Therefore, Karam Yoga is your nishtha. Other than these two, and mark these words, कर्म योग से आपकी आध्यात्मिक गति शुरू होती है. कर्म योग से आध्यात्मिक गति शुरू होती है वेदों की दृष्टि से. वेदों का ये रास्ता है. ये किसी का जीव, किसी भी का नहीं. इवन कृष्णा सेज, as Mr. Krishna, it's not what I'm saying. That's why he says pura prokta. What has been laid out is what I am telling you, Arjun. 4th chapter also is going to start with the same. ये तो सृष्टि का नियम से चल रहा है. I am not the one who's creating this. It's not my philosophy. Even Krishna says that. It's not that I'm making a special module for you, oh Arjun. I'm not giving you a special module. I've not created what are the package, self-development package for you, oh Arjun. I have not done that. I'm not doing that. I am giving you the knowledge which is eternally there for a human being relevant. Starting point is कर्म योग से शुरू होता है आध्यात्मिक जीवन. कर्म योग के पहले क्या है? What is life before someone has a nishtha for karam yoga? What is that life?
संसार, चेस,
कर्मों में लगे हैं प्राकृत स्वभाव से, अपनी इच्छाओं के हिसाब से. As each one wants his life to be, as each one desires, as each one likes, as each one operates on their own, प्राकृत स्वभाव जो ऑलरेडी acquired है हमारा, हम उसी के साथ चल रहे हैं. जो जीवन हम सिर्फ अपनी इच्छाओं के आधार पर जी रहे हैं, ये जीवन संसार कहलाता है. I'm repeating. Take this as your arbitrary starting point. You know, when you are in a race and you have the starting line, so starting line, take that as your starting line. Here, take that as your starting line. From here onwards is your karam yoga and the whole mark that Veda takes you up to your पूर्णत्व. जो इस तरफ का रास्ता है, मीन्स बिफोर आई हैव टेकन द निष्ठा ऑफ कर्म योग, मैं जी तो रही हूं ना, हम सब जी रहे हैं, इस दुनिया में सब जी रहे हैं. Everybody is living seemingly happy. In fact, most of us, when we start on this pursuit, a part of our confusion is when we are on the higher values, why am I not finding more happiness than all these who are otherwise samsari, but they seem very happy in the world? ये तो आनंद में जी रहे हैं अपना. जो ये आनंद में जी रहे लग रहे हैं हमको, this side is entirely अपनी मर्जी से, अपनी इच्छा से, अपनी समझ से, अपनी बुद्धि में जो सही लग रहा है, जो नहीं, मैं उस जीवन का प्रमाण हूं. मेरी इच्छाएं उस जीवन की गति का प्रमाण है. और शास्त्र इस पूरे जीवन को एक शब्द में निचोड़ लेती है कि इसमें अगर जियोगे तो आप संसारी हो. आपको संसारी कहा जाएगा क्योंकि इसमें आपका जीने की गति, ये कर्म जो आप कर रहे हो, ये जो इच्छाएं पूर्णता के लिए कर रहे हो, ये सब आपको फल से जोड़ के आपको एक cyclical existence में डालती है. You will find yourself born again and again, or in different situations will keep rising again and again. There's no freedom from this. There's no freedom from this. सबसे पहला आध्यात्मिक गति निष्ठा अगर कोई पकड़ता है ना, वो तब पकड़ता है जब उसको ये समझ में निष्ठ हो जाता है कि ये तो संसार है ही है. जो उसको ये समझ में आ जाता है कि इफ आई go along with my desires and my thinking and my wishes and my wants etc, इसकी गति तो अनंत है. There is no end to my struggles. There is no end. There is no cessation. There'll never be a point. And this is not a exaggeration. This is a statement of fact that Shastra tells us. There'll never be a point where I will settle down. In creation. In creation. और वो क्रिएशन का ज्ञान तो हमको पुराणों से मिलता है. क्रिएशन किसे कहते हैं? हमारे नजर में क्रिएशन, हमारे नजर में क्रिएशन इज मेरे जीवन के जितना. Where I'm born and when I die, in between, this is creation. Is this creation? Again and again, if I can find myself opening my eyes in a creation, this is creation. There is already a birth planted in this realm of cycle. जिसको ये संसार की गति समझ में आ जाती है, वो निष्ठा लेनी करनी शुरू करता है. I want freedom from this. Again and again, born and again, same. कुछ नहीं बदलेगा. Nothing has changed. Only thing that will change is our external format of living life. पहले हम we used to live in caves. Now we live in multi-stories. That external lifestyle can change, but internally, nothing will change. वो caveman को भी भूख लगती थी, वो caveman भी insecure फील करता था, वो caveman को भी शांति चाहिए थी, उस caveman को भी लगता था कि हम 1 से 2 हो जाएंगे तो हमें शायद और सुविधा होगी. वो caveman को भी लगता था, वो मल्टी स्टोरी में रहने वाले को भी लगता है. कुछ नहीं बदलेगा. Therefore, जो ये चीज को निष्ठ पकड़ लेता है, संसार गति को समझ जाता है और उसमें अब हिलता नहीं है, वो आध्यात्मिक गति पे प्रेरित होता है और आरंभ होता है. सो कर्म योगेन योग, वो अब योगी कहलाता है. Who is wanting now to start an आध्यात्मिक गति, वो योगी है. जो शुरुआत कर रहा है योगी, उसकी शुरुआत कर्म योग से होती है. एंड कर्म योग में जो निष्ठ हो जाता है, वो सांख्य योगी होता है, ज्ञान योगी बन जाता है, और ज्ञान योग से डायरेक्ट मुक्ति हो जाती है. एंड दिस संसार you have eliminated, destroyed completely. This whole path is now, he says, And so from fourth verse onwards, he's explaining now in a little details, and we'll try and cover it up tomorrow. More verses. We have laid out the background once again, and the starting. So from fourth verse, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, I'll end the class. 1 second. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणास्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
It was an awesome class, Ditya.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, Jean.
Never so much.
Recording stopped.
Glad. If you have any questions, anybody, you can.
There's just one question I want to ask you.